Hi guys, welcome back to Humanity Unlocked. I'm your host, Kimberly Daya, and today it's an episode with just me. My first one I've ever done, but I think it is in order. I wanted to give you guys a heads up about what's going on in my life. It's nothing crazy serious, but it is something that I have yet to really tell anybody. I've only told a couple people, and it's something that I wanted to talk about, and I decided I would go ahead and do an episode about it. It is in regards to my beloved, sweet dog Tucker, who we had to put him down in June, and I wanted to do an episode about this for a few different reasons. But before I really go into that, let me just backtrack a bit. And I wrote something down, so I'm going to read it. So just pardon the next 30 seconds for me reading this, because I didn't want to forget. Last week's episode, I said I would record a separate video regarding something that occurred during the month I took off, which was June. I took that month off because, first of all, because I needed it. I was entirely burnt out. I had some concerning lab markers. They came back on a recent blood panel that I did, and I needed to address those. That was really the primary reason why, because I felt my health was declining. Usually when I take time off between seasons, as I typically do, I use that opportunity to fill up the recording schedule with new guests. I send out as many pitch emails as I can to potential guests who have either shown interest in coming on or who have been referred to me as a guest, or people even who I just find myself online when I have a subject that I need to get a guest for, I ask different people if they want to come on and cover those subjects with me, who I think would be a great contributor. But none of that happened during my month off. So I kind of expected to do this thing where I was addressing my health and scheduling new guests and reaching out and sending pitch emails. I was off for 4 weeks and none of that happened. What did happen was as a lot of you guys know, the week before our final episode from season 3, we had taken our daughter Jasmine on a cruise for her 16th birthday. And apparently while we were gone, Tucker was not doing well. Tucker just was a little more depressed than usual and just really low energy. Nothing really over the top to be concerned about. But maybe if I was there, I would have caught on. So we returned back, and I could tell Tucker had lost a lot of weight. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe he was just like stressed that we were gone and he just wasn't eating a lot, which is not entirely uncommon for him while we're gone. He usually loses a little bit of weight anytime we leave. Not to this extent though. So, over the week that, following, there were other things that came up. He became really incontinent, where he was like losing bladder control left and right. Like I couldn't take him out for potty enough, like, because he was going before I could even get him outside. Like he'd go to the back door to go out, and before he would even get there, he was losing bladder control. He was peeing in the middle of the night on the carpet in our bedroom, which he has never, ever, ever done. And that happened a few times. So obviously as all this is happening, I take him to make a vet appointment. I get referred to, we were in between vets because our vet that we had used for both Tucker and Bubba, who is no longer with us, he passed away a couple of years ago, had sold their practice. So we were kind of in between. And so my trainer, Lupe, gave me the name of her vet, I'm so glad she did, because she was amazing. Leslie Silva here in the Sacramento area. So I took Tucker in and got his labs done, and I just said, what's wrong with him? He's not the same dog. Like he's not as interested in food anymore. He's losing bladder control. He just seemed very listless, and and so his labs came back, and we got a diagnosis, which I don't really want to go into what that is, because for the simple fact that I don't want to hear what I should have done, could have done differently, because this was a very, very difficult decision. And I weighed it out over a period of several days. But let me just go into what that looked like for me. So the vet told me what it would take to keep Tucker alive, what his life would look like. She goes, but you're just pushing out the inevitable if you do this. It will lessen his suffering, but this is not an ideal quality of life, and this will never go away. So she laid it out. She said, I will support you in this process if you want to do this, but it's okay if you can't, because this is a lot and it will take over your life. Your life will revolve around this. And that part, I don't have that much going on. I mean, I've been a stay-at-home mom forever, and I just have this podcast, and it wasn't really that. It was more about, would I be keeping him alive so I wouldn't suffer, or would I be keeping him alive so because I would feel bad about putting him down. The fact is I think the kindest thing to do when a dog starts to go downhill like this, you have to weigh it out, and which I did. And is it kinder to let them go with dignity than keep them alive so we don't have to go through the pain of losing them? And I knew my dog was suffering, and I couldn't bear it. And I knew what would require to keep him alive, and I knew I wouldn't be able to bear that either. Knowing that I am causing his suffering by keeping him alive was just too great a burden for me to even consider. So, like I said, I waited out. I kind of knew instinctively, immediately. I'm talking with her. I asked her what she would do, and she said I would let him go, because he's probably not 12. He's probably closer to 15, which was news. Because when you adopt a dog from a shelter, there's no way to know 100% how old they are. But it kind of made sense that he was a little older based on some of his other issues. So I took the next several days to take some time. I canceled everything. Everything I had going on, I canceled. And I wouldn't even leave him alone. I wouldn't, like if I had to go upstairs, I would have my daughter be with him or my husband. I just didn't want him to be alone for a second over the period of time that followed before we put him down. So I canceled everything and just snuggled him, loved him, talked to him, enjoyed him. And I'm so glad I did that. There was a couple times I went back and forth on, am I being too premature? Should I wait and see? But the longer I waited, the more I could tell that he was suffering, and it was just felt cruel. And I knew that it was the kinder thing to do. So I made the tough call that I don't know how I was able to do that, because knowing me, I would be somebody who would try everything first, but it would just felt like the right thing to do. So we scheduled the appointment, which in and of itself is so difficult, because you're calling to basically make an appointment for your dog's death, which is that's the thing. Like with Bubba, when we lost Bubba in 2022, he passed during the night. We were already in talks of scheduling a time to have him put down, because he was really, really not in a good way, and we kept him alive way too long. Now I can say that with full certainty. But with Tucker, we scheduled for him to be put down, and that was just hard, just even scheduling it and showing up for that. And so anyway, I'm gonna add in some clips of what that final week looked like with him. He's extremely lethargic. He's just unmotivated to move for anything. I know he probably has to go potty, so I'm going to lift him and take him out. Want to come sit with Mama? Come here. Come here, mister. I love you. I have to put Tucker down today. In a couple hours, I have to take him in and put him down. And he's been my companion. He's been by my side for 10 years. We've been through many ups and downs. Or I should say he's seen me through many ups and downs. When we first got him, I was really sick. Having him had brought so much joy to my life, especially when my kids were in school and I would be home and I'd have him laying right beside me in bed. For Tucker's final meal, I got him this, and I think he's really enjoying it. After his steak dinner, always loves to rub his face after he has a full belly. Our appointment with his vet is in 3 hours, so I'll have to leave here in like 2.5 hours. So one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this episode is because I think that there's much debate with fur babies, like about, especially people that, have human babies, which I do. I have 2, and then they have their dog, and a lot of us are like, yes, this is a fur baby, but this is not a child or whatever. But and then those who only have animals, they treat them like they're children. And I can tell you with full certainty that I know I've spent more time with Tucker over the last 10 years than I have any single person in my life, simply because I'm mostly at home. My kids were in school always. My husband was at work, and Tucker was always by my side on my lap 100% of the time. When you look at it that way, like, he was my shadow. He was my sidekick, my counterpart. He was attached to me, and I knew him so well, and he knew me so well. I knew what he was thinking. I could read his thoughts. Like, I knew when my husband would call him over to come sit with him on the couch, if there was a remote in the path of walking down the couch or a blanket that didn't belong there, he would sit and wait for my husband to move it. And my husband would be like, come on, come on, come on. And I would say, you need to move the TV remote and move the blanket out of the way, or move your laptop that's like leaned up against the cushion. Like, I would say he needs a full open path. And so he'd move all that stuff. And then Tucker, sure enough, would get up and walk over there. Like, I always could read him. I knew when you spend that much time with your pet, you can predict things about them. They can predict things about you. So I wanted to give a little bit of like a eulogy for him, because I think that I knew, based on how I responded to Bubba's passing in 2022, that Tucker's passing would be very difficult as well. I had Tucker longer than Bubba. I would say I was close to both of them, but Tucker was closer to me. Like, Bubba was like equal with everybody, where Tucker was definitely like my dog. So I knew that when Tucker's time came, because of how hard it was to lose Bubba, I knew it would be really hard with Tucker. So I was anticipating it would be hard. But I did not expect to feel the profound loss that I have felt. And I just wasn't fully prepared for that. It was really, really hard. And I want to talk about this because I think that a lot of people dismiss animals, not a lot of people, but there are many people that dismiss pets and animals and like that they're just so expendable and replaceable. And when we took him in to be put down, so I was holding him, they sedated him, then they put the catheter in his arm, his foot, and then they gave the euthanasia through the catheter while he was already sedated and sleeping in my arms. He went very peacefully. The hardest part about it was leaving him behind, like putting him on the table and taking my blanket back, and then having the vet put their towels or their blankets over him and then grab him to take him away. And I knew that was the last time I'd ever see him. And that was really, it like felt wrong. I felt like I should have taken him. I have nowhere to bury him though. Had I had a place, I would have felt better about that. I ordered, I did the order where you get their ashes sent back to you. When I get his ashes back, I don't know if I'll stack the box with Bubba's, but I was also thinking of putting a picture of Bubba on top of his box and then putting Tucker's here and then putting a picture of Tucker. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a second angel to go next to Tucker. Tucker was a Chiweenie. He was a white with tan markings Chiweenie, we think. I got him on January 19th, 2014. They said he was 2, but I guess he might have been a little older. They found him walking along the side of the road near Consumnes College, junior college. They found him walking, and it wasn't chipped, no collar. We adopted him at the shelter the first available day for his adoption. I picked him because I was just me and Jordan and Jasmine that went that day on a whim, and we saw several dogs, but Tucker was the one that was the most timid and his tail between his legs, and there were a lot of dogs that had a lot more personality than he did, and we're very excited when we were visiting with them in the yard. But I told my kids, that's the dog that needs us the most. And nobody's probably going to want to pick him because he doesn't have any personality. Not that we could see. He's just like this lazy little thing that lets you do whatever. Put him in any position. He just doesn't ever care. So we should take him and save his life, because we know what happens to dogs that don't get adopted. And so we took him. And he went on to become my little companion. So 6 months prior to that, I had gone to Reno for my intensive therapy for Lyme disease. So I was just barely kind of getting on the mend at that point, but still very limited in my capacity to do things. And my live-in caregiver at the time reminded me when I told her we were putting him down, said that remember when you would be in bed taking naps during the day, that I would bring him in and he would lay on your bed with you the entire day, and like didn't ever want to leave my side, even to go out to go potty. We were very attached. I'll see if I can find some clips to insert for after we first got him. at the time when I got him, I remember I was going through this period of time that I kind of felt a little useless and depressed. I had my caregiver living with us, so she took care of everything at home, which was great. And then my kids were, I was still really involved with my kids, but I kind of felt like I didn't know my place anymore because I was sick and I was trying to get better. And having Tucker, like, it gave me, like, he needed me. And I know my kids needed me. I know that. But they also could be taken care of by my husband. And, like, there were so many other people that, like, we were like a village helping to raise the kids and everything. And Tucker just wanted me all the time. And so he was like, I learned this term recently. It's called soul. He was my soul dog. So he came at a time where he, like, really felt like he saved me, like my mental health, and just made me feel like he, like, was breathing life into me a bit. One of the things that I didn't really anticipate was how baked in his presence has been in my life, because there's so much I do in my routine that includes him, or at least includes me having to consider him. And that has been interesting. So obviously we know, like, we come home from being gone or whatever, and you walk in the door and your dog greets you. Obviously, I think across the board, all dog owners feel that loss when their dog is no longer there to greet them at the door. I think that's like a universal thing. With Tucker, it was that, and my husband's definitely feeling that too, even still. It's been 2.5 weeks. Also, though, it's like the morning routine when you first get up. You get up, and it's like a whole circle I would make. I get up, go downstairs, open the back door. He'd go out and go potty. I would go in and start my coffee. He'd come back in. I'd always give him a little treat right when he came in. That's like how he'd start his day. Give him a little treat. Go shut the back door from after he came in, and then go into where his food was in the laundry room. Freshen his water, freshen his food. Go grab my coffee. Meet him on the couch, and then we'd snuggle in the morning. It was like this whole, that's been my routine for ever. And so the first morning, it was like I came downstairs and it was literally just me going to get my coffee, which felt very weird. And then at night, I'd go, usually I go get in bed before Mark and just kind of relax in bed and watch something or whatever. And I would unmake my bed, pull my covers back, and then I would turn to pick him up. And I went to go turn. It's like it's like this muscle memory thing. That's another thing that was really, also too, as he got older, it was harder for him to do the stairs, and so I would carry him. And I didn't want him to attempt to do the stairs because I didn't want him to injure himself, because he had an injury a couple of years ago. So if I was going upstairs, I'd always have to, like, be quick, meaning, like, I just wouldn't spend time up there without him unless I was carrying him up. So I'd put a gate to block from, so I still go to put that gate. It's like a removable gate you could just put in place at the stairway entrance. And I still go to put that there, and I don't need to anymore. And another thing is, like, when I'm upstairs and I always feel like the need to hurry up and go back downstairs because my dog's down there, or go back down and get him and bring him up. All these things are just so baked into my routine that has been hard, weird, something to get used to. I also think that I understand why a lot of people, right after their dog passes, that they want to get another dog right away. I understand that now, because immediately I felt like I needed to fill that emptiness. We're not going to, just because I think that we need some time. And I think that, to be fair, like, especially if we get a young dog, I want to have a better yard, because we have a pool and we don't have, just the backyard's not ideal. And we want to get a bigger dog with our next dog. So we need a better yard, that's a few years away after Jasmine goes to college. So I understand that now. I understand why people do that, because so instead of getting another dog, I just started consuming a lot of YouTube videos about dogs, like dog grooming, where dogs go when they die, like just all the things. I just want to say to those out there who have fur babies or who have lost them and know what this grief feels like, I feel you. I see you. You are so incredibly valid in that, in talking about how painful that grief is. And now I understand why people say that it is actually can be more painful than losing a human. Because, and that's not to be like insensitive. I think what it is it's like you only have like pure love for your animal usually. And there's not a lot of conflicting emotions involved. I get it now. I get it now. And I think dogs are so special. They're so special. It's like what they say, we don't deserve dogs. And my dog was very special. And I don't think a lot of people got him. He was very snarky, kind of acted like a cat. He had an attitude. He had a great side eye. His lip would get caught on his tooth a lot. He had a little bit of an underbite. And he had an attitude. He was part Chihuahua, so not an attitude like he wasn't yappy and stuff, but he was just funny.
Tucker! It's mine!
Tucky, what are you growling at? What? Tucky. Tucker. Honey, it's just the wind. It's just the wind.
No more kisses.
It's interesting how much I'd worry about him. I would watch the clock if I would left the house, and I would not watch the clock, but I knew like, okay, I've been gone for this amount of time. I need to go home to my dog. And I don't know. Just the amount of consideration I always had was, I would always ask like other people, like, what do you do when you're like, how do people go to work for 8 hours and they just leave their dog? Like, it's just, I know it sounds crazy, but this is all I know. I've only ever been at home with him. And if I leave, I'm not gone that long, or there's somebody else at home. Like for a while, it was like myself, my husband, my 2 kids. We had a caregiver living with us for a while, and we had Bubba live, with us. So for a while, it was like either one or more of us would be there, or the other dog was there with him. So I don't know how people do it. I need to be better about probably treating my dog a little bit more like a dog. So they don't, I feel like I wouldn't maybe worry about him so much. Because I know most people that would watch him probably would not think he probably didn't need it. I probably just thought he did. Who knows? I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that that's what June was for me. There was the week that we were gone on the cruise. There was the week we got back from the cruise where it was apparent something was wrong. There was the week when we put him down. And then there was the fallout the week after he was put down. And that was my June. Nothing else got done. Nothing. So this season of Humanity Unlocked, I am planning like real time as we go, literally booking and recording. Like these episodes will be churning out as I record them instead of in like far in advance, which is what I would have normally done. So I'm going to do my best to upload, on a schedule, which is usually Thursdays. I can't promise that I will have it out Thursday at 1:00 on YouTube every Thursday. It might be Friday some weeks. It might be Monday. It might just be patient with me and know that this is why the consistency may be lacking a bit this season. So just understand that's why. And going forward, we should be in better shape. It's nothing went as planned during my break. I do feel better, though. I did address a lot of my medical issues. That's a whole other conversation, which I might talk about at some point. But that I was able to get on. I was able to get the iron I needed, and there's been some side effects from that. But we'll deal with those, and we'll talk about those later. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate you giving me this grace and understanding during this time, and we will see you back here next week. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye.
When I think back on these times and the dreams we left behind, I'll be glad 'cause I was blessed to get to have you in my life. When I look back on these days, I'll look and see your face. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. And everywhere I am there you'll be. Will you show me how it feels to feel the sky within my reach? And I always will remember all the strength you gave to me. Your love made me make it through. Oh, I owe so much to you. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. 'Cause I always saw in you my light, my strength. And I wanna thank you now for all the ways you were right there for me. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. 'Cause I always saw in you my light, my strength. And I wanna thank you now for all the ways you were right there for me. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. And everywhere I am there you'll be.
Thanks so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, please give it a like and leave me a comment. I want to know what you guys think. Also, if you're looking for more information about how to be a guest on the show, please go to our website at humanityunlockedpodcast.com. We only record shows in person, and we are located in Sacramento, California. Oh, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you tap that button so you can get updated on weekly episodes as they go live. Is that it? I think that's it. See you guys next time.